Hey, everybody, this is Poiab from Your Own Pathway. I hope you all are doing very well. And by the time I put this video out, it will be late January, and it is also Lunar New Year. And so, happy Lunar New Year for anyone or to anyone who celebrates that. And this is the year of the wooden snake. And I actually wanted to implement that today with today's episode, also because all of this intertwines with what I am going to talk about today. And so, as you can see, the name of this episode says, Yes, I am crazy. And I'm going to tell you all why I am crazy as I forged my own path and I am owning it. So today is a little bit more personal, and I wanted to update all of you on what is happening in my life as I talk about forging your own path and owning it. So, a lot is happening in my life that is a lot of transformations, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and also a lot of excitement also. So thank you for joining me today. And again, my name is Paya, and I'm a trained psychotherapist. I'm an empowerment life coach, and I'm also an organizational leadership consultant. So that was a lot. And so notice that I said trained psychotherapist, and that is what I'm going to talk about today is why I said I'm a trained psychotherapist and that I was no longer a psychotherapist. So let's talk a little bit about this. So about 6 months ago, it was like a July. I was feeling a little bit lost and confused, and I didn't know where I was going, what direction I was going, because I knew that things in my life were not going the way I wanted it to, and I was trying a lot of things, and also there were a lot of things that I was not trying, and so I actually sought some spiritual guidance from someone, and I asked them this question, and I said, I've been thinking if I should stick to therapy, if I should stick to being a therapist. And this person said to me, No, you shouldn't. And I said, Huh, okay. And they didn't give me a direct answer. And they said, something related that you know that you can be doing more than this. I was like, I thought that and I felt that. And again, let me explain. My journey becoming a therapist was a very, very challenging, difficult one. And for me to decide not to do this anymore felt almost like, why did I work so hard? And so, for anyone who is watching this who is a therapist, will understand what it takes to become a therapist. It is not an easy road, and this is why potentially there is a shortage of therapists because it is hard to become a therapist. And where I practice here in the state of Minnesota, there's a certain number of hours that you have to have in supervision, and you have to pass the test and do all that stuff to become a psychotherapist. So I actually started all of this in 2017, and my road to becoming a therapist finally happened in 2021 after like 3.5 years. And so I've been doing therapy since 2021, and I've been a social worker since 2008. So holy moly, it's been almost 17 years. So it's been almost 17 years, and the last 4 years I've been a therapist, and I love being a therapist. I love my clients, I love my work, and yet who who is also a therapist, or whoever is a therapist watching this, it is also a very draining, emotionally exhausting job, especially doing the population that I worked with. I did a lot of grief and loss and trauma. And even in my private practice, most of my clients were not in crisis or high acuity. It was still very exhausting listening to all my clients and seeing 5, 6, 7 clients a day. That could be very draining. And so I thought about what I wanted to do, and I thought, what is it that you really want to do? And so the funny thing about therapists is people who don't know therapists, they make the assumption that we have perfect lives or that we know what we have to do, we know how to coach ourselves, we know how to give us therapy. And For the most part, I think the therapists who do their inner work will ask themselves these questions. And a lot of times, as therapists, we are on autopilot and we're on survival mode too. And we're exhausted, especially if we're seeing 7, 8 clients a day. We're exhausted. So we don't get time to think about these things. And so, one of the things I had to ask myself during this whole journey in July was, what is it that you really want? So I had to coach myself and I had to really ask myself that question. What is it that you really want? And so I had to sit down, I had to think about this, I had to really reflect, and I had to take out my notebook and write what it is that I want. And I thought, I really want to do more work where I can reach more of a mass versus just the one-on-one work where I see clients again 7, 8 a day and see them like 4 or 5 times a week and see about 20 clients. I'm like, what do I want to do that? That's a lot of energy and that's a lot of time. And that's also a lot of exhaustion. So I knew that I could help more people doing work that would allow me to educate, allow me to talk about my lived and learned experiences, professional and personal, about forging your own path and owning it. And what does that mean? How to help people do that? And I thought, the best way to do that is to really create content, is to really try to reach more people. And therapy is keeping me small. And when I say therapy kept me small, I'm not trying to say that therapy keeps everybody small. For me, therapy kept me small, and I knew that I could be doing more. And therapy, I felt like therapy kept me small. Therapy kept me from doing what I truly wanted to do. And again, that was to create. And so I made that decision, I think around July, and I really started playing with it. And when I went to Bali and really had to think and reflect, it was in August that I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I am going to no longer see therapy clients. And I went through all the emotions. I wrote down everything that I was feeling. And I thought, what are you going to do though? Like, what are you going to do? Because therapy is your income source. Like, that's your income. What are you going to do without income? And so I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anxiety. I had so much scarcity that I felt in making this decision. I mean, it was exciting, but reality hit, like logic hit, the numbers, the evidence base, everything hit. It's like, well, what are you going to do? It's like, shit, what am I going to do? Like, when I say I'm a creator, what does that exactly mean? Like, are you going to be an influencer? Are you going to be a YouTuber? What exactly? And so I had to ask myself those questions too. Like, what exactly do you mean? And so for months, from August until October, November, I really, really had to work on my mindset. And I tell this all the time to my clients too. It's all about your mindset. It is really all about your mindset. And yes, there is the logic part of the mindset too. And yet, you also have to think and change your mindset and believing that you can. And so, one of the things that I noticed when I work with my clients on their mindset is they automatically assume that they're going to fail before they even start. And so the words they would say, well, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. I thought about this, but I know it's not going to work. And I would counter and ask, and what if it does? And they kind of are taken back and thought, oh, well, I never thought of that. What if it does? Now, it may not happen in the timeline that you want because, everyone wants, instantaneous. They want money right away. They want millionaires. They want, recognition right away. And it may not happen right away. It may not happen when you want it to be, but and it will happen. How long are you willing to wait and work and take action to make it happen? And I think that's where I see the disconnect is the work and the action and the belief. Like the belief is there. Okay, if I can believe, now I have to put in an action plan. What is the action plan? If it doesn't work, do I give up? And so I had to work on that mindset myself. I had to work on my own mindset. I had to really find my balance. I really had to ask myself what is important to me, what is not, what are my values, what is my why? Why am I doing all this? And so many people assume that they are going to fail. And I had to work on my own mindset and believe that, you know what? I'm not going to fail. I'm going to have lots of learning opportunities. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to transition as needed. And so instead of looking at this new path as a failure, it was a chance for me to really say, you got this. You're going to learn a lot. And you would rather do this and take this risk and take this chance than to ever wonder, what if, what if? That was one of the things that I vowed to myself in 2024, moving on to 2025, that I was no longer going to have this conversation. Imagine if you had only dot, dot, dot. And in reflecting in my life, I realized that I held myself back for so long because of fear, because of scarcity, because of negative thoughts, negative feelings, because of logic. Like, I've always been such a logic person because I was taught that way. I'm very left brain. I grew up in a family society where it was all about security and that you had a plan before you went on to the next one. So I always had a backup plan. And did I have a backup plan? Yes, I did. I knew what I wanted, and yet I didn't have the clients yet. And so I'm an empowerment life coach. I wanted to do, or I'm focusing on business organizational consulting, and I'm like, I'm going to do content creation, meaning that I was going to focus on really building my brand and putting my voice out there, your own pathway and about owning it. And I was going to focus on my podcast. And my intention is to really educate people about the things that I'm good at, which is again forging your own path, how excuse me, about working your mindset and barriers that may prevent us from forging our own path, and wanted to really educate on that and put out the information so that you as a viewer can decide what you want to do with the information that is presented to you. And the intention again is never to judge or shame, and to give you the information so that you can make the best decision for yourself. And so, in order to do that, I had to, again, really work on my inner work. I had to do so much inner work. Honestly, I have never done this much inner work. And a lot of things happened in 2024 that I knew needed to happen so that I would have the skills, the tools, the knowledge, my toolbox. Like, I had to emotionally develop a toolbox for me so that I would learn how to navigate the situations and interactions that I knew that I will be having, and how I needed to keep myself grounded and centered and aligned when I'm challenged each day about the various situations and the interactions that would be coming my way. And during that time, honestly, there were days when I was like, "Why is this not happening sooner? Why is this not happening faster? Why is it taking so long for me to get certain things?" And I had to really, really sit back. I had to really be present. I really had to meditate. Like, I meditated. I sat in silence for 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time. After that, I would journal my thoughts and I would read it out loud, and I would reread my journal to really help me decide or be like, "Oh my, wow, this is what you were going through. Why was it that you were going through? Okay, this is why you were going through this because you had so much fear, you had so much anxiety. This happened because this person said this and that, and you took it personal. And how are you going to deal with situations like that again?" And so I had to do a lot of introspection for myself. I had to really take accountability. I had to really surround myself with people who aligned and who supported me and who uplifted me. And I had to really protect my energy. And so the last few months of 2024 was working on myself so that when I made this decision and I was ready to tell my clients and say, hey, I'm making this decision that I will no longer see clients. I will no longer be a therapist, and I am moving on. And of course, the reactions were, it was hard because I've built relationships with so many of them. I've worked with some of them for a number of years. I've literally seen them grow up, go through so many things, their grief, their loss, motivate them to see them go through wonderful things and then to have things change and then transitions and help them through all of that. And they also helped me be a better person and a better therapist. So it was a two-way street where we both learned from each other. And I also knew that I had outgrown being a therapist, that, you know, 4 years was great. It was wonderful. And it's time to do something new. It's time to level up your skills in ways in which you can do more and help more and educate more and put your voice out there. So, um, when I made that decision, it just felt right. It just felt right. And when I sat with that, I thought, okay, this is it. This feels right. My intuition, my intuition tells me I'm on the right path. And for anyone who is making this type of decision, or not even this decision, but who is thinking about whatever decision that you need to make, trust your intuition. Trust your intuition, listen to your intuition, and it would guide you. And I knew that the answers were within me. I initially, when I started this path in July, I was seeking out answers outside of me and I was asking everyone. And I realized I had the answers within me. I knew it. I just needed to trust myself in my intuition. So, for anyone who is in a position where they're feeling stuck, or they're thinking about making a transition, a transformation, or whatever it is, learn to trust your intuition. Your intuition will guide you to whatever answers that you need. And so I had to really listen to my intuition. I had to really learn to trust myself. And by doing that, again, I allowed myself to have silence, which gave me a lot of clarity, which gave me a lot of wisdom. Everything that I needed was within me. And so that's when I knew. That's when I knew. And I informed my clients again, and they supported me, which I knew they would support me. They would support me. They were sad, but I knew that they would support me. And so um, it came a lot faster. It came a lot faster than I thought. And I finally realized how fast it was when someone mentioned, "Oh wow, next week is our last session." And I thought, "Oh my God, are we at the end of January already?" And it was. It was the end of January, and I felt all my emotions again, like the week before, which was last week, and this week, I felt all my emotions again. And I'm sure I am going to feel my emotions next week too when I don't see clients anymore, where it's going to be like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm so used to seeing clients. So used to seeing clients one on one. I'm so used to having that interaction. And for me to no longer have therapy clients and that interaction, it's going to feel so different. And yet, there's a part of me that says, wow, you get to create now. Like, you get to create whatever it is that you want. And you get to you get to play, and you get to decide what you like, and you get to decide what you don't like, and you get to go from there. You get to be an artist in a way that it's probably not a typical artist, but you get to be a creator. You get to write. You get to do videos here on YouTube. You get to be a content creator for Cadre, which is a mental health app. I will link all of that information in the description box too, which I am a weekly contributor where I talk about your own pathway, and I also talk about health and the well-being in the workplace. And because I am no longer seeing clients, that frees me up to do more episodes too. And so I'm actually going to focus on doing mental health and well-being in the workplace in other YouTube series that I'm going to focus on that. So there's so many things that I am doing because I don't I don't have clients to see anymore. And again, this is nothing about therapy. This is nothing about my clients. This is about me and my decisions. And so I did inform a few people close to me about what I was doing. And understandably, a lot of them kind of looked at me and asked, how are you going to make money? Like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to make money? And I said, I am going to focus on making content, putting my brand out there, putting my voice out there, putting my message out there. And my intention is hope that companies or people would want to do one-on-one coaching, or if there's any businesses out there that would love to do consulting about mental health in the workplace. That's my purpose. And my purpose is to really be out there and educating and to do collaborations and partnerships. And people didn't say it, but I could tell they looked at me like, you're crazy. You're just crazy. Like, you are one crazy bitch. Like, they didn't say it, but I can tell in their eyes that they were that they were essentially thinking that. And I thought, oh my gosh, I am crazy. Am I crazy? I'm crazy, aren't I? I'm crazy for doing this. I'm crazy for having no like legitimate plan. I'm crazy for putting all of this in, like, having faith and taking a leap of faith. And I'm crazy for um not having a logical plan, and I'm crazy for going with my intuition, and I'm crazy for, with faith, and I'm crazy for listening to my heart and my soul, and I'm crazy, not crazy. And it's so easy to get spiraled down if it's so easy to spiral down. And when I did, I would have to, s- you know, sit back, breathe, and allow myself to be centered, to be mindful, to really focus on the here now and don't panic. And one of the things I learned about fear is that fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion that could be there or not there. And I was putting a lot of things that were not there. Kind of reminded me of the mindset when I would ask, clients, what if it does work? And so my fear was, what if it's not there and you're just putting all this fear when you don't need a fear? I'm like, okay. And I realized that I was causing myself more stress than I needed to. I was formulating all of these terrible scenarios um and giving myself anxiety instead of saying, when it happens, it happens. Now, does that mean that I am throwing caution in the air, caution in the way, and just like, la 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 la? No. It means that, okay, I'm trusting in my skills. I'm trusting in the connections I have. I'm trusting in myself. I trust my intuition that this is the right path for me. And yes, to other people, I am crazy. Yes, to other people, to rely on your faith, to rely on your belief, to bet on yourself. That is crazy. That is crazy. And I understand that my situation is very different from other people, and to any of my viewers, I understand that my life is very different. There are certain risks that I can take that other people may feel that they're not able to. I mean, I admit I have a lot of blessings and I have a lot of privilege that allows me to take this risk. That includes if anything happens, it's just me. I don't have any dependents. I live a life that is n- um, very simple. That has allowed me to take risks, and also though it's also the decisions I've made in life that has helped me take these risks and the advantages that I have been given. So it's also taking accountability for the life that I want to have also, which is again, forge your own path. It's all about taking accountability for your life and not remaining a victim. And because I took accountability and I did a lot of things that helped me, it allowed me to make these type of decisions that I am making. So there is that, and another part is, I feel when people think that you're crazy, I feel like you do. You do got to be crazy to believe in yourself, to bet on yourself, to believe that you can make a change, that you can change the world. And I think about this all the time, like all the innovators, all the entrepreneurs, all the inventors out there. I bet at some point in their lives, in their journey, everybody thought that they were fucking crazy. Like, you're a whack. Okay, you're a whack, Thomas Edison. You're just whack. Or, even Jeff Bezos, with Amazon, or for anybody out there who wanted to do something different or to innovate something. I bet they were all called crazy and were told that's not going to happen. You can't do that. And honestly, in my past so far, I've had a lot of naysayers. I've had a lot of naysayers. I've had a lot of doubters, and I've had people tell me that's not going to work. Well, you're going to like XYZ if you do that. And protecting my energy, protecting myself has been one of the biggest things that I've had to learn how to do. And for anybody who is forging their own path and who are owning it, who you surround yourself with matters so, 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 so much. Who you surround yourself with, do they uplift you or do they tell you, no, that's stupid. You're not going to do it. You're not going to make it. Surround yourself with better people and stop asking armchair people who are not doing it. Like, stop asking people who are not doing it how you should do it. Because if they're doing it, if they're not doing it, then why would you ask them? Ask the people who are doing it. Ask the people who are going through what you're going through, and ask the people who've done it. Um, so no more armchair people in doing this in like forging your own path. And I do think you have to be crazy, to throw logic to throw logic and to throw evidence-based practice and to throw away the numbers that so many businesses and people are like, well, show me the numbers, like proof. You need proof. Like, I'm throwing proof away. I'm throwing, again, logic. I'm throwing everything that I've been taught that I need to have evidence in order to move on. And I'm throwing all of that to listen to my heart and follow my soul and to believe in myself. And yeah, if that makes me crazy, I am crazy. I am freaking crazy. And you know what? I'm also crazy enough to believe that I am going to make it. I'm crazy enough to believe that it's going to happen. I'm crazy enough to believe that I'm going to change the people who are meant to change or who are meant to listen to my message. I'm crazy enough to believe in myself. I'm crazy enough to believe that I can do this. I am crazy. So if that makes me crazy, yes. Yes, I am crazy. I am freaking crazy. And I'm not denying it, and I embrace being crazy. I embrace being crazy, and I embrace that this craziness is going to take me somewhere far. And the best part about all this is that it's a path. Like, it's a path, and I'm gonna wander. Am I lost? No, I'm not lost. I'm going to be wandering. And during that path of wandering, I'm going to discover a lot of things. I'm going to discover so many things about people, my surroundings. I'm going to discover so many things about myself and how this is going to make me not just a better person, but um, how I'm going to be better for myself and how I could be better as a presentation for the world and for those that I can help. So I know it sounds really idealistic, and I am idealistic. And I think when you go on this path of forging your own path and trying to own it, you do have to be idealistic, because if you're not, you're going to hold yourself back. So again, if that makes me crazy, I am crazy. And so for my viewers who are watching this, who want to forge their own path and who want to own it, if anybody calls you crazy or tells you that you can't do it, I would say shut it out and be like, nope, I can do this. And give yourself time, give yourself patience, give yourself lots of compassion. Because if this was an easy path, everybody would be doing it. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's going to be one of the hardest things you'll ever freaking do. And I always say this to the people closest to me, and they're so sick of hearing me say this. And I'm going to say it too. If anybody can do this, it is you. If anybody can do this, it is you. And you're the crazy one. So be crazy and change the world, change whatever it is that you want to change. And yeah, you got to be crazy to do that. And there's a final quote that I wanted to share from Steve Jobs that he said. And I'm like, what a beautiful quote. And it's also true and so final. And he quoted, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." Steve Jobs. So again, the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So that is my final words to you. And yeah, I am crazy and I believe in myself. I have faith, and I'm taking the leap of faith and the leap of jump, knowing that I will be okay and I'm going to learn a lot, and that this is a journey that is of self-discovery, and it is a journey of finding who I am and not living with regrets. Because if we're all not guaranteed an extra day, and if I was not guaranteed an extra day, I don't want to live with regrets. I would rather say, hell yeah, I effing did that. I effing did that, instead of saying, I wish I would have. So, final words to you. What are your final words going to be? Would you rather say, hell yeah, I fucking did that? Or would you rather say, I wish I would have? So, you decide what your final words would be. So, thank you for being here. And again, this is Poiab from Your Own Pathway. And thank you for joining me for an episode. And join me next time. And so take care. And again, happy Lunar New Year. And I hope you all stay safe and well. And again, this is the year of the snake, which is all about shedding transformations and letting go of the previous. So take care.